exactly how do you attract bad things in your life? What's the mechanism? It's very simple actually. I've listened to many videos on the law of attraction and I was getting more and more confused. And I don't want this to happen to you. So you have my promise. I'll share everything I've learned in as clear and concise and bite-ready format so you can understand it even if you were a child. Before I get to answering the question, I need to give you a life situation so when we get to the answers, you'll understand it easily. So whether you believe in karma, previous lives, future lives, or if you are a religious person who doesn't believe in neither one of those things, listen up. You'll get a lot of clarity and answers to the burning questions. So the situation was that I was helping a person. I was doing something quite unpleasant. At the same time, the person was probably not treating me super nicely, or at least that's what I thought. I was at this moment feeling bitter, thinking they were taking me for granted. And because I was upset, I was getting irritated, thinking that they would have never done the same if the situation was in reverse. Now, if you believe in karma, you're possibly thinking that I attached bad karma to myself. Or if you believe in reincarnation, you might be thinking that I will be involved in the opposite kind of situation in a future life. Or if you are a religious person, you might be thinking that even though I did a good deed, it doesn't count as a good deed because my heart wasn't at the same place where my actions were. Actually, I think that all of these concepts would be wrong, at least for my specific situation. It counts as a good deed because I did it despite how much more emotionally challenging it was for me to do it in comparison to a situation where I didn't have these feelings. I decided to do what's right despite my feelings. My sacrifice was even bigger because of that. If a billionaire gives you $5, it's not much of a good deed. But if a homeless person gives you his last dollar, that's much bigger because he gave you all he had. With regards to reincarnation and karma, why deal with this problem in the future when you can deal with it right now? I was aware of my feelings and I didn't like them. The bigger part of me was actually very grateful that I have been blessed with the capability to help this person. So I try to never look on the surface. I always aim to look deeper. I was aware of my feelings. I didn't like them, but I didn't want to ignore them or pretend that they weren't there. No, overcoming a problem, you first have to admit it. So I was grateful for these feelings because they revealed a wound. The feelings were not the problem, the wound was. The feelings were just the indicator of the wound. So they were actually helpful. Very helpful indeed. Let me explain the difference. If you have the wound but you are not aware of it because you don't have any bad feelings at the moment, it's like having a damaged pipe under the ground. It's leaking, but you are not aware. Or you are aware that there is a leak, but you have no idea where it is. It could be miles and miles of pipe groundwork. So the feelings are a good thing. They're like when the water from the pipe explodes above the surface, so you can now clearly see exactly where the pipe is damaged. Then you can dig just a little to replace it. If your feelings are dampened up for some reason, and there are many reasons why your feelings could be dampened down. And if you want me to give more attention to this or focus on it in another video, just let me know in the comments and write your questions so that I can answer them. So if your feelings were dampened down, you would have to dig the whole system to find the damage. So what appears to be bad on the surface is actually a good thing if you think about it. But now let's get to the question, how do you attract the bad things? Actually, we already touched up on this a little by understanding that not everything that appears bad on the surface is bad. It could be the best thing ever happened to you. But to explain this deeper, I want to give you an example with the human body. So, how does the human body heal a wound? The short answer is by attacking it. So the process starts with the body's alarm system. As soon as the wound occurs, blood vessels constrict to reduce bleeding. Platelets rush to the site to form a clot so they can block the bleeding. This clot not only stops the bleeding but also creates a temporary barrier to block bacteria and debris. The next stage is when the battle begins. It's called inflammation. Yes, you always hear how bad inflammation is for you, but actually inflammation is a lifesaver. When your immune system kicks in, it sends white blood cells called neutrophils to the wound. These cells attack and destroy bacteria and remove dead tissue. This stage might make the area red, more painful, swollen or warm, and that's your body fighting the infection. The next stage is the rebuilding of the damage. Once the infection is under control, fibroblasts move in to produce collagen. That's a protein that acts like scaffolding to rebuild the skin. The next stage is the finishing touch or the remodeling. In that final phase, the new tissue straightens and organizes itself. Over weeks to months, please note, not minutes to hours, the wound fully closes and a scar may form. And the purpose of the scar is not only to remind you that you once had a wound there. The purpose of the scar is to protect, because the scar tissue is hard and is less elastic than regular skin. See, the process the body uses to deal with a wound is by attacking it. So if that's the methodology your internal intelligence uses to heal your physical wounds, what makes you think the same intelligence would use a completely different methodology to heal your emotional wounds? If this method works, why on earth would your internal intelligence change it or use something completely different that might not be as effective? So now please think of the time before you came across this video. If back then I asked you if it's a good thing or a bad thing to be attacked, what would you have answered? Please tell me your thoughts in the comments. I'm really curious, but more importantly, I want to know you better so I can serve you better. So is it good for you to be attacked by bad things? See, the body attacks you with all these bad things we mentioned. It's alarming, it's obstructing, it's attacking, it's destroying, it's increasing pain, it's swelling, it's creating discomfort. Are all these bad things? Well, they're not good things. But they're not good not because they're unpleasant, but rather because they reveal that there is a fire, there is a wound. So they are bad things, but they are actually very, very, very good for you. So how do you attract the bad things? By having a wound. They come to your life with the single mission to attack your wound. But remember, the only reason and motivation behind it is to heal you. They are bad, yes. But are they doing something good for you? Heck yes! They come to destroy the bacteria, and if they don't, the bacteria will destroy you, because bacteria is poison. Then the third stage is the rebuilding process, as we mentioned. Have you ever done any restoration, decoration work? Have you painted your walls? If I had to use one word to describe this process, this word would be chaos. Imagine painting your walls. You have to move all the furniture where it doesn't belong, and you have to cover it with sheets to protect it because there is so much dust everywhere. If you want fresh walls, you first have to go through the chaos. There is no other way around it. Is the chaos a bad thing? Yes, but no. It's a very good thing that starts bad. See, you attract only the things you want. You want these walls painted. So you don't just attract chaos, you create it. If you want healing, you attract the destroyer cells that come to attack your wounds. If you want to live in a renovated home, you first have to attract chaos. No chaos, no renovated home. And if you want to protect your home from fire, please install a fire alarm and allow it to ring as loud as it possibly can. So even if you're not around, your neighbors would hear it and tell you. Your negative feelings are your fire alarms. Don't hide them. Don't try to suppress or suffocate them. No. Ask the question, what are they trying to tell you? And now I'll tell you what your feelings are not trying to tell you. My feelings were that the other person was ungrateful. But even though that's what I was feeling, that's not what my feelings were trying to tell me. And also, my feelings were not trying to tell me that I am a bad person and the karma will catch up with me because I felt so unappreciated. And my feelings were not saying that in the next life I will be punished to live in the same situation in reverse. And my feelings were definitely not revealing that my good deed is valued at 0 in the eyes of God because of my negative emotions. No, none of that nonsense. You simply attract the bad things because your inner self is a lot wiser than your outer self. It's smart enough to know that these are not bad things. They might be unpleasant things, but they are truly very, very good for you. Just take every day as it comes. Don't be in a hurry to judge what's good and what's bad. It's not possible to know from superficially looking at it. And if you wonder what's the right way to judge if what comes to you is good or bad, I'll make this very easy for you to know. I'll give you the exact answer to this. But before I tell you, I want you to think about it. What do you think the answer might be? Take a moment, think. How could you know if what's happening to you is a good thing or a bad thing? If you need, please pause the video for a moment. I really want you to think about it. If you share in the comments, I'll be deeply grateful because by knowing your needs and your way of thinking, I can serve you better. Now, the answer. Everything coming to you is a good thing. Only good. Everything has a lesson, everything has a purpose. It's coming to attack your wound because it's the only way to heal it. Is it good to be hungry? No. Well, it's not pleasant, but it's very good actually, because if you don't feel hungry, you will starve and you'll die. It's your signal that you need to eat something. Is it good to be angry? No, it's not pleasant, but it's good, as it shows you where the poison is, so you can take the antidote instead of damaging your liver. Actually, do you notice? Please pay attention to this. Do you think it's a coincidence that the word liver and the word live are spelled exactly the same way? And the liver is the organ responsible for removing the poisons out of the body so you can live. If you want to live, you have to allow the liver to clear your poisons. Have you ever been physically poisoned? I have, And honestly, it's not just unpleasant, it's life-threatening. You feel sick. Is feeling sick a bad thing? Yes, but what would happen if you didn't feel sick? Don't you think it's weird how, in terms of physical life, if your fire alarm is not buzzing, you are worried. You are thinking, this alarm is probably not working, I must get it tested as soon as possible. Actually, if you own a care home, you intentionally test the alarm every single week. And in the physical world, if your alarm is working, you're not even thinking if that's a good thing or bad thing. You just shoot off to deal with the fire. But when it comes to our inner world, it's quite opposite. Your inner alarm is not ringing and you are thinking, oh, I'm so great. I'm so spiritual. I don't attract bad things in my life. I'm so much better than all those negative emotions and anger and frustration and resentment. I'm just so great. Then if your inner alarm starts ringing, what are you thinking? You're thinking, oh no, I've attracted bad things. Oh, it must be karma. I must have done something bad and now I'm getting punished. You focus on the alarm, not on what the alarm is trying to signal you about. Don't you think that's weird? So remember to be grateful for the signals and welcome them with an open heart. They're not evil, they're just the messengers. The bad things don't come to destroy you. They come to warn you so that you can get safe and protected. Please like and subscribe so you won't miss my next videos. Please share in the comments your burning questions and topics that you want me to discuss in the next videos. Thank you so much.